Vikings Valhalla is one of the shows that historical fans are most excited about that is getting released this year. The sequel to the Vikings TV series was announced over 2 years ago and is being helmed by Netflix, and the hype for this show has slowly been growing since that time. But as we are getting closer to its February release date, I find myself starting to already doubt if Vikings Valhalla will be a TV show that can live up to audiences' expectations. And there are several reasons for this, which I will delve into in this video. But I feel like Vikings Valhalla is going to be another TV show that will fall victim to the woke crowd and be more focused on being politically correct rather than historically accurate. Which is frustrating, as I'm sure that 99% of the woke crowd won't even watch this show, but will be the ones getting the most catered to. So my first and primary reason that I feel like Vikings Valhalla will be a letdown, or will potentially be a letdown, is due to the casting of Caroline Henderson as Jarl Hakon. Jarl Hakon was arguably one of the most important Viking figures in history, as well as one of the most influential figures during this time, being at the forefront against the rise of Christianity across the Dane lands. So by casting a black woman to play one of the most important Viking figures, who historical figures have described as being a large, strong, and fearsome white male, is just offensive, rude, and in my opinion just downright racist. We will not let Tom Cruise play the role of Martin Luther King or have Denzel Washington play the role of Mahatma Gandhi. So why is it acceptable and receiving such limited negative feedback when an important historical figure who has had descriptions and portrayals written through him by first-hand accounts is being inaccurately displayed for no good reason whatsoever? I 100% agree we need more diversity in TV shows. As an Asian male who has long dealt with issues of racism and hate all my life, especially after the 9/11 attacks, I strongly believe more positive representations of different races would help foster better relationships between different cultures, religions, and races. I fully agree with this, and I'm a strong advocate of this as well. But casting one black person does not make your show diverse. The world is filled with people of different colors and races, and if we feel it is necessary to have a diverse representation on our TV screens, then it is only fair to cast an Indian as Leif Erikson, a Chinese as Freydis Eriksdotter, and why not have a Mexican as William the Conqueror? At least that way you can say your show is truly diverse, and we have appeased pretty much every hippie, woke snowflake in the world, but also given a fair representation as well. Production studios were actually serious about bringing diversity properly onto our screens, then they should research real historical figures from different backgrounds and bring them to our screens in great epic historical shows. I would love to see another show about Zulu, Aurangzeb, Genghis Khan, and all the other great historical figures we have from different cultures across the world, but cutting and pasting them to fill in the roles of existing white dominant figures in history is not diversity. I consider that racism, as it shows that production studios are not genuinely interested in bringing us true diversity. They just want to tick some boxes. Because if they were truly interested, they would, rather than taking existing figures such as Jarl Hakon or Anne Boleyn and making them black, which is not only offensive to whites but also black people, as it says, you have no history, so we have to just cut and paste you into ours. It is just ridiculous, and I feel like this has gone on long enough, and we should really have true change and true diversity within our screens. Moving on from this issue, we can also see Vikings Valhalla has already strayed away massively from history before the show has even started, which is a huge shame because Vikings was actually fairly accurate historically for much of the first 2 seasons, and this is what gave the show, I feel, a good strong foundation to build upon. But if you look at this article, you can see it states that Jarl Hakon was the leader of a multi-faith Kattegat, which is ridiculous because he, or should I say she, was never the leader of Kattegat. He was the ruler of all of Norway. But again, this is a minor point I easily forgive. The main concern I have here is that it is totally against what Jarl Hakon stood for. He was firmly against the rise of Christianity in his lands, and he would never have allowed his domain or kingdom to be multi-faith, as his whole legend was built around how much he opposed the Christians and how fiercely he would fight against them and their rise within his lands. A secondary problem that I see here is It says she is a powerful mentor to Freydis Eric's daughter, which again is ridiculous because the two most likely never met, and if they did, it would be on the rare occasion, as Freydis spent most of her life in Greenland, far away from Jarl Hakon, who was in Norway. So how could she possibly be mentored by Jarl Hakon? Most realistically, they probably never even met each other. This show is getting ludicrous before it has even started, and I see us getting spoon-fed a lot of historical inaccuracies from the first episode, which means this show can get stupid and out of control like the last few seasons of Vikings did, but from the very offset of the show. And my final concern with this TV show is something that some people might disagree with, but I feel like the involvement of Michael Hurst with this show is a down point, as he has proven with the last few seasons of the Vikings TV series, and even with the Tudors, I would say the last seasons were not great, that he is fantastic at world building and establishing characters that will get audiences engaged with the show, but he is horrible at finishing a show properly, and that after a few seasons he seems to just lose interest in his work, and all elements of storytelling, script writing, and historical accuracy just go out the window. Compare the first 3 seasons of Vikings to the last 3 if you need further evidence of this. I would much rather Netflix had kept Michael Hurst away from this project and brought us the show with a new pair of eyes and viewpoints from someone that has had no involvement with Vikings, to be fair. Because Michael Hurst has proven that he doesn't truly have any interest in the Viking world anymore, and that he's probably there just for a quick paycheck. So these are some of the reasons I am cautiously optimistic about Vikings Valhalla. I expect it to suck because it seems to be trying to appease the wrong people, the people who don't even want to watch this show but are the biggest criers, rather than true fans of historical TV shows who are clamoring for historical shows to focus on being more historically accurate and have great storytelling and characters that respect their origins and history. I know I'll probably get a lot of hate for this video in the comments, but I have a platform in which I can share my opinion and viewpoints on the nature of all historical TV shows, and I will continue to do that. I am not saying that Vikings Valhalla will be a bad show. I am saying there's a high probability of it, but if done correctly and if we ignore the flaws that are already present, there is a chance for a great show to be established here, as Netflix has done a great job with Barbarians, The Last Kingdom, My Country, and several other historical shows, so they do have that to their credit. So lastly, if I want to say, if you enjoyed this video, and if you agree or disagree with my viewpoints, then hit the like button and leave a comment down below. And also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you love anything to do with historical TV shows and historical movies, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.